I went to Western Carolina for a double major in psychology and social work. I ended up completing my internship here, and I fell in love with Cabarrus County and just the atmosphere here, the environment, the people here. And I felt like this is where I was kind of meant to be to serve this population. So I enrolled as a family assessor in August of last year, and recently I switched over to investigations. I was called out on a case. I was downstairs talking to the child. Mom was upstairs with the baby, and all I knew at that time about the baby, I didn't even know her name. I just knew that she had RSV and she had been sick for a long time. We just heard Mom over the baby monitor. Downstairs we heard her like saying, "Oh, what's wrong, what's going on?" and just kind of like panicking sounds. And so of course we're like, what's going on? So the child runs upstairs, Mom's running downstairs with the baby in her arms. We looked at her, she was having a seizure and her eyes were rolling back in the head. She was like biting her tongue and kind of just like freaked out for a minute and just looked at her and just kind of tried to assess if she was breathing or not. And once we found out she was not breathing, I just kind of jumped into action, started doing chest compressions on the baby. Mom had already had the phone calling 911. And so we just kind of listened to the operator and kind of followed her directions until EMS got there. And then luckily, but right before EMS got there, as soon as we heard like the sirens coming, the baby came back and she was crying and kicking her arms and legs. And I just was so relieved that she was crying. So the baby was brought to the hospital right after the incident. I think she was kept there for that night for some monitoring. But she is home now. She's on medication. She's doing well. She's stable. Family is doing okay. I plan to see them this week, so I'm excited to see how they're doing. So luckily I was CPR trained. Before working here as a CPS worker, I did do daycare for some years. So I have had some CPR training ongoing for quite a while, but luckily I had CPR training with the county at EMS headquarters with their amazing instructor and just kind of refreshed me on some things, and I'm glad I was able to use it following days after that. So I'm really thankful that I had that training. I'm glad I was there, and I'm glad that I could help out in that moment.